And can you just give me a thumbnail on the Ravens offseason in terms of their transactions, and what do you think they've done in free agency and throughout the course of this offseason to improve themselves? And do you think the contract signed by Joe Flacco has hindered them in any way?
Yeah, well, I'll start with the Flacco deal. Next year is really going to be the one. His cap number is going to be approaching over $20 million. So they're really going to have to figure something out next year. I don't think it necessarily hindered them this year. I think there were a few other deals that were made that actually hindered them, the Ngata being one. I mentioned Lardarius Webb's deal as well, but he's somebody that wants to forever be a Raven. So what did he do? Literally took a pay cut. We're not talking about shifting money around. We are talking about literally taking a pay cut to get less money. So that in itself was definitely a good transaction. I think at this point right now, Haloti Ngata, that trade I think was a good transaction for them, and that they were able to free the money, get mid-round picks. But at the same time, there's a guy, Brandon Williams, who played the zero technique last year, did an outstanding job. And if you watch that Steelers game in the playoffs, he and Ngata together dominated that Steelers offensive line. But to take Ngata's place, they're going to continue to develop Timmy Jernigan, the rookie out of Florida State, a second-year player now. But when Ngata was absent, Jernigan did outstanding. So that's something that they'll continue to do. They can fill the gap left by Ngata. I like the Kendrick Lewis signing. That was a good one, getting the safety out of Houston. You get yourself some more veteran ability. They let Darian Stewart go. You put him back there with Will Hill. I think you have a good tandem, and you sprinkle in Matt Elam in some nickel situations, and Terrence Brooks, the Florida State second-year player, once he gets back. Don't be surprised if they draft a safety. Eric Rowe out of Utah is a guy I did a feature on a couple of days ago that is an awesome match for the Ravens. I think that he's somebody that they may consider. Josh Shaw out of USC is another one. So as far as the free agency part of things is concerned, I think they did fine. I mean, it's a typical Ravens free agency period. They're not a team that signs big-time players. They get guys that fit. They did an awesome job with that this year. They didn't spend too much money, more than they needed to. And I think having 10 picks, they're going to really grab some guys in the draft that will also supplement this roster, whether it be another edge rusher. Pernell McPhee left, and they knew that they weren't going to be able to sign Pernell McPhee. Torrey Smith is a guy that, hey, I mean, you love the speed, you love how he is entrenched within the Baltimore community. I mean, fans took out a page and they dedicated to him to show their appreciation. So it's really going to be the draft. The draft is what's going to determine their offseason. And if that's the case, you definitely want to look at it as a positive outlook, because Ozzie Newsome is one of the best personnel guys in the NFL, and his team of personnel guys is really good. And I emphasize his team because he's somebody that, yeah, he does have the quote-unquote last say, but it's the synergy kind of thing, whereas they're all required to give some type of input. And I actually did an article, I have one that published this morning in the Baltimore Times about Ozzie Newsome, and it just talked about his rise as a player and then into the front office of the NFL. So I think Ravens would be fine.
Well, Turron, I thank you for your time this afternoon and for joining us on the Two-Man Advantage podcast. It was a lot of fun, buddy.
No problem. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you having me on.